Today we're going to be looking at the State Line Drive site. So I'll be walking through the basic functions of this site. So to start out, you'll go to your URL and then /wp-admin, and that's where you'll log into the backend. And then you'll put in the username and email, and then the password that we give you. So whatever we create for you, you'll put in there. And this is where all of the functions of the website are. So stuff on the right's not important, but I'm going to go down through these items on the left and show you how most of these we're using and how they work. So we'll start here at updates, and this is just plugins and themes to build your website. And so if you want to come in and update plugins, you can select all and update them. You don't have to do that because we regularly update all of the plugins on all of our websites. So we do that a couple times a month. So you actually never have to worry about this if you don't want to, but you're more than welcome to update those when you come in. Posts are for blog posts. We have a test post here, which you're not using this plugin, so don't need to worry about anything there. Moving on to media, this is where all of your pictures or video or anything that's uploaded on the site is located, and you can view them here. You can upload pictures here by clicking on Add New. You can view them or change the size of them from the media folder, the media library, but also anytime that you need to have access to a picture, it'll be within whatever plugin you need it for. So that's just so you know that's your media library. You can see what's there. Moving on to forms, you have one form for contact us, and this is for people to book or tell you about an event that they would like to book. So if you ever need to add new elements over here, you pick them from the right hand side over here. So right now you've got name, email, date, venue location, all this stuff. These can be rearranged by dragging them wherever you want them. You can change what they say by clicking on them and then changing this right here. You just click on it. You can delete it if you want. You can duplicate this particular item if you want. Or you can add, let's say you just want to add a single line of text. So it's going to show up at the bottom. Change whatever you want it to say right here. You can change it to say anything you want. And then you can drag it wherever you want and you can delete it. And then you would just click update form. So if you need to edit any of these items, that's how you would do that. Under settings, this is where right now you've got a notification will be sent to the admin profile. So if you want this to send directly to your email or a different email or something, I would just go ahead and duplicate this notification. And then once you duplicate it, go in and just change this email from admin email to, so-and-so@gmail.com, whatever email you want it to be. Click update notification, and then it will send a notification directly to your email with all of the information from that form each time a form is submitted. You can preview your form. It's not formatted the same way it is on the site, but you can look at it through that way. And then entries is where any forms that have been submitted would be located right here. You don't have any yet, but all of the answers would be right here and you can view them. But if you go ahead and put your email in notifications, then you can get an email. So moving on to pages, this is what creates, I'm going to open this new tab so I can look at your site. That's what creates these items. So this is a page. And this is a page. But most of your pages are utilizing other plugins. So under photos, we've got a foo gallery short code link here. So, or you have So there's not these photos are used through a different plugin. So I'll show you how to do that. And then the band is also using a different plugin. So I'm gonna look at the other pages. Expand contact. So contact is where you have your form that we just created. So at the top of the page, you have a slider. So Revolution slider is at the top here, which is what allows there to be this picture with the logo. But this is the part that's added. So you can change what this says here if you would like. You can change the size through here. You can change any of the content. This you're not going to want to change. That's your form. So if you created a new form, you add it through here. And you wouldn't want to display the title or the description. But that's how we added this form, was through that little button, and it just puts the short code there, and then the form shows up on the page and looks nice. But you can change any of this wording. You can add bullets, italics, bold. You can align it differently. You can hyperlink to a different page or an outside website, and then you would just hit update whenever you make any changes. So really, we're utilizing a lot of other items in order to make these pages work. So that's probably most of what you need to know about pages, because we're using other things, like there's shortcode for your YouTube channel. That's how it shows up here. But if you wanted to change this text, any text that doesn't, look like this, where we've got your YouTube channel videos, if you want to just change the wording or anything, then that can be changed here. So let's move down to what's next. Comments would be like if you had a blog, which you are not using. Food gallery. You're not using this either. It looks like maybe we started to, but it's not currently in use. So we'll move on to band members. This is what shows up on this page. So in the page, we have short code so that this shows up, and then that YouTube video. So you can click on each individual band member and then scroll down, and this is what shows up on that page. And so we've got it formatted for you, but if you want a different photo, this is where you would come in and change it. So you can upload your files here and then choose whatever photo you would like if you ever want to change it, or you can change the bio information and click update when you're done. And then you would click reorder to put them in a different order just by dragging them wherever you want, kind of like we did with forms, and clicking update. And that's all you'd have to do there. And events works similarly. So for events, it's got the same type of function. So I'll show you through here. You've got your title, event name, event date, and event location, and then we had an option for there to be a link to an outside site, but you can either leave that blank or just put in that pound symbol so it will let you post it. So all you have to do is add this information, or add whatever information you want to add, and click update or publish if it's a new one. So you can add new through here or here, and then this information would just be blank. And so I added these when we were building the site, and the way that they show up, so you've got this event calendar here, and you've got May 26, 27, 28 here, and so that when I order them, that they show up right, if you look at all events here, they show up. If I just put the title H Toads and I didn't put the date, I wouldn't know which one of these was May 26th, 27th, 28th. But it doesn't show up that way. So what you put up here in the top part, what you put up right here that's not what shows up on the actual page. It's what you put here. So this just helps me put them in the right order. And then you go to reorder, and then you just drag them the same way to put them in the right order on the actual calendar, and click update. So that's pretty simple, pretty easy. Homepage areas, looks similar to these items, but it is a little different. It's what creates these areas of your homepage. So for the slider here, this is the slider that's on your top page here, or the top of the page. I believe it's this probably. And that just is short code. So that's just short code put in to this page. And it's probably going to be the same for every single one of these homepage areas is short code for something. This is going to be an embedded video. And so we made the width 100% and the height 500 pixels. And so if you want to change this video out in your homepage area, what you would do is get that embed code from YouTube and put it here, and then change the width and height to match how this one is if you ever wanted to change that. Homepage area. Spotify is going to have short code so that Spotify shows up. That's your, and again, we've adjusted the height and width. And then this is also, if you come down here, so on this particular one, there's a background. So that's how we did that. There's a background color. You can change the background color if you'd like. This is, we wanted to have some padding around the actual item, and half pod. That's what we chose here, so that these other ones go all the way across, and then for these two, they're just selected as a half pod. So probably not ever going to need to change that because you've got your Spotify link here. But if you do end up getting a new album or something that you want to embed here, you can embed it the same way. Just change out the width and the height. Then you really wouldn't have to change anything else. Let's look at the other. iTunes is going to be the same thing. Got that code there, and then we've got. So that's what creates this, and then we made the album artwork, the background. So if you ever wanted to change that, could come in here and change it, select it as your background, and we overlaid a little bit of a color on it. So we chose a color, and then the way you slide this, slide all the way to the left to make totally opaque, or all the way to the right to make totally transparent. So there's a little bit of a color overlay so that sits on there nicely. And we've got padding clicked, and then half pod, yes. So again, if you ever need to change out that link, this is where it's located. It's short code and ends up looking like that. And then you can change out the photo here. And you could leave the overlay the same or change it to a different color, or more opaque or less opaque or more transparent. And you could leave everything else the same. And again, you would just hit update. And when you're done and when you want to save it, iTunes. Then this is also your slider. It's just got short code for the slider. And then this last one is tour dates. And for this one, we used some text in here to create this as tour dates. And then we've got the pod. And this is added through pod's short code. So we've got display, we're listing multiple items, and then that's when you would have clicked events, but you're not ever going to need to add that again. You just need to know how to update the events. But I'm just showing you, just so you know. And then reorder events, or reorder homepage areas, excuse me. This is where you would reorder them if you ever created a new homepage area or something and you wanted to change the order of these items. It's the same way that you did events and band members by just dragging them. Genesis is a theme for your website, not anything we really need to worry about. Appearance, two things here. Widgets and menus. So we'll talk about widgets. I don't think you're using many, if you're using any. We've got a menu here, and then probably you got this so that you've got your homepage areas. I don't think you've got anything else on this site. And then you've got this social media menu at the bottom. You're probably never going to need to change anything, but if you ever wanted to add something to the homepage area, to this, what's up here, if you wanted to add a picture in this header or something in the footer, like an address or something like that, you could do that through here, and what you would choose is the custom menu, or you would choose a form, an image. You could choose something over here and then choose where you want it to go on the website. So we've got something in footer 2 and footer 1. And if you add it, so let's say you add it to footer 1, then I can drag it wherever I want. If I decide I want it somewhere else, I can drag it and then change and say I want to add, if we add another menu, which these are probably not anything you're ever going to do, but just so you know, that's where those menus are. And if you ever needed to change out anything, this is where that's located. But that's all that you have here. And then on menus, this is how we created those menus at the top and bottom. So we've got the same menu at the top and bottom here, and then you have the social media menu here. And if you look at this, you've got custom link, page, custom link, and the rest are pages. So these items link to a page on your site. And this just links to, it's a button for your home, so it just takes you to the URL. And then this one just takes you to, we've embedded within the page a slug or however you want to call it. It's embedded in the page so that when you click events, it just goes down to that particular part of the page. So that's a little bit more complicated. If you ever want to change one of these things out to one of the menu items to go to a particular part of the page, we can talk about that. Then you can ask for help. You could Google how to do it. It's pretty simple, but I'm not going to go into it. I don't think that you'll need to do it. And then the rest, yes, just link to a page. So if you ever created a new page on your website, it would show up over here, and you would just select it and click add to menu, and then it would show up on your menu. And you can make any of these sub menu items. So if you ever wanted to put a sub menu like photos from a specific event or something like that, or if you wanted to rearrange any of these, again, you can just drag them or you can delete them. And then you hit save. And so this is your home, top, and your bottom menu. And then if you want to look at the social media menu, you can click on that one. And so this one has it looks a little bit different. And how it's done is through this code here and then your social media link here. If you ever wanted to create, or you want to create a button for an additional social media, which you've got a pretty wide range here. So again, probably not going to need to know how to do that. What you would do is just create a custom link, copy and paste this navigation label. So copy that here and put it here, and then change this out where it says Instagram to say whatever social media it is, Google Plus or whatever you might have that isn't already on there, and then put your URL here and hit add to menu, and it'll show up just like those other ones, and you can rearrange it in the same way that we did the others. And then those are added through that widgets button, and yeah, that's all you need to know there. Plugins, those are the things that we were talking about updating earlier. Don't need those, or you need them. You don't need to worry about those. You don't need to do anything here. Users, this is where we'll create an admin login for you, and once you do have one, you are free to and welcome to change your passwords. That can be changed right here. Tools, settings, SEO, not anything you need to worry about, just parts of your site. WP tiles, this is not anything that you need to worry about, but I did forget to talk about how these photos are on this page here. So we're using WP tiles to create this layout, and it looks nice, and you don't have to worry about WP tile anywhere. But if you ever want to add or remove photos from this page, I'll show you how to do that. And that's done through this media library, which I didn't mention earlier. You can go in and say you want this picture to be added to that page, then you would select photos page right here and click update. So these are categorized, and that's how they end up on that WP tile page. So yeah, that's all you need to know how to do there. If you do end up wanting to add a new category, you can do that through categories. Add a new category name here, and then it will show up in those media items, and it can be selected. But right now, if you want to add photos to that page, then click photos page, and if you want to take them off, then you would just deselect it and click update. And moving on to Facebook feed, that's what we talked about, having your Facebook feed up on your homepage area, which I don't think you do have. So again, not anything to worry about. Duplicator is something we use to launch your site. Let's talk about Slider Revolution. So you've got several slides on here. For the home page, looks like you just have, that looks like a video, which is not the one we ended up using. So that one's not currently being used anywhere, that slide. What else? Band members, the band. This looks like what's on the home page. Let me look and see if it is. It is the band. So what we have here is a picture with this logo over the top. So if you ever wanted to change out this picture, all you would need to do is go into the media library right there, upload a new picture or select one from the media library, and that's all you needed to do. So media library, select one, insert, and that will make it your new background. So if you look at this homepage area, you can see the slider is titled the band. So this is the slider that's on your homepage area. If you want to change out the picture on that particular slider, this is where you would do that. And this is already centered. This looks nice and good. Don't need to worry about that. You can see it's centered. And then if you want to change how this photo is centered on the page, that's done through Ken Burns right here. And we've got it set to, you can choose these items here or X percentage, Y percentage, and then we went in and changed the percentage on these axes to make it so that this wasn't covering up people's faces in a weird way. So that's how we changed that for you. And so then that would be the same thing. If you uploaded a new picture and you needed to rearrange where this was, then you can just mess around with this and then hit save slide, and then you can preview the slide. And you can preview it on each screen size. And yeah, you just need to make sure all your elements fit within these lines on each screen size. So let's look at all sliders. And you've got videos. For the video page slider, you have a video in the background. And again, this is already on the top here, and if you wanted to add a different video, then you would just go to that page, get the ID, and paste it right there, and it will add it for you. And so that's how on that page it plays that video in the background, is through that slider. So there's really nothing else that you need to worry about on that one. And you're probably not going to be changing much out on these, since they look good, and but that's the general idea. And then they're added through embed slider, and then this is where you get the code that's copied and pasted into the appropriate place so that it shows up at the top of those pages. Yeah. And Twitter tweets, that's the same thing that kind of the same thing as this Facebook feed. If you were going to have the Twitter feed like your old website, that's how we were going to do that. But it looks like we decided to go a different direction with that. And all of these other things, you're not using a Google map, I don't believe, because it's more for like if you have a business. Yeah, so those are all the things that you need to know. I believe I went over most of these things. This is added, these are added through pods. I showed you how to update the pods. That's what page we're on. This events page, or this events section of the homepage, is added through pods. I showed you how to update those. You know how to add photos and remove photos from the photos page. Videos is just your YouTube channel. Contact, you know how to update that form. Yeah, so those are the things that you need to know. And if you need help with anything along the way, or you come in and run across something that you need help with, you can always reach out to us. But these things should give you a good start.